Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi, I am Muhammad Nur Fauzan. I am from Group 5.
Hi, I'm Wafa Kolan Shaida. I'm from Group 5.
Hi, I am Tiara Fatima Ahmadani and I am from Group 5.
On this video, we will discussing about how to write a paragraph terms with mind mapping. A paragraph. A paragraph must consist of at least 5 sentences. And what is it? It is one topic sentence, 3 supporting sentence, and 1 concluding sentence. When we want to write a paragraph, we should know the brainstorming. We also have a technique used to write paragraph using these 4 ideas to make a perfect paragraph, to make good paragraph. The first one is main idea. The main idea is the point of paragraph contain the most important ideas to find out where the point is. Ide pokok atau gagasan utama merupakan inti dari suatu paragraf. Main idea ini atau gagasan utama ini juga dapat ditemukan biasanya dari kalimat topik yang terletak di awal paragraf. Number 2, we have topic sentence. Different from the main idea, the topic sentence is the main core of the entire content of the writing that will be conveyed. Nah, berbeda dengan main idea, topik adalah inti utama dari seluruh isi tulisan yang akan disampaikan. Third is supporting sentence. Supporting sentence give you more information about the topic sentence. Nah, supporting sentence ini adalah mendukung atau mengembangkan ide utama suatu paragraf. Kalimat ini disebut juga this sentence also called by body sentence because ditemukan dalam badan sebuah tulisan. Last but not least is concluding sentence. Concluding sentence is a sentence at the end of the paragraph whose role is to unite the information that has been presented. Pada concluding sentence atau kesimpulan, kamu bisa menaruh opinimu atau apa yang kamu rasakan, tetapi jangan membuat ide baru pada akhir kalimat ini, pada kesimpulan ini.
The main idea is the idea of a paragraph. How you determine an idea can be an object, a person, or an experience. For example, playing outside. Main idea adalah ide dari paragraf. Bagaimana Anda menentukan sebuah ide dapat menjadi suatu objek, seseorang, atau pengalaman. Contohnya, bermain di luar. Topic sentence discusses matters that become the topic of writing and the main idea. For example, playing outside has many benefits. Topik sentence membahas hal-hal yang menjadi topik penulis dan ide utama. Contohnya, bermain di luar ada banyak manfaatnya. A supporting sentence is a sentence that supports or develops the main idea of a paragraph. For the example, first, it gives you some exposure. Second, active games get you moving and will benefit your physical health. Lastly, Playing or running around can help relieve beat-up, stress, and frustration. Supporting sentence adalah kalimat yang mendukung atau mengembangkan ide utama dari sebuah paragraf. Contohnya, pertama, itu memberi Anda sinar matahari. Kedua, permainan yang aktif membuat Anda bergerak dan akan bermanfaat bagi jasmani Anda. Terakhir, bermain atau berlari-lari dapat turut meredakan stres dan frustasi. A concluding sentence is a sentence that concluded a paragraph. For example, in summary, anyone can benefit from outdoor activity. Concluding sentence adalah kalimat yang menyimpulkan paragraf. Contoh singkatnya, siapapun dapat memperoleh manfaat dari luar ruangan.
3. Editing. Grammar mistakes. There are 10 common grammar mistakes that will ruin your writing. First, subject-verb agreement errors. A mistake a lot of people make when writing is that the subject and the verb don't match. The verb and subject need to match a number, meaning in singular or plural. If the subject is one person, the verb must agree and reflect that. 2. Sentence fragments. An incomplete sentence is called a sentence fragment. If the sentence is missing an independent clause or a complete verb, it is considered incomplete and is therefore incorrect. The most common way sentence occur is when the meaning of a second sentence is based on a previous sentence. 3. Misuse of a contraction and apostrophes. A lot of people struggle with knowing where to use a contraction or apostrophe. Whether the contraction is it's versus it's, your versus your, or their versus their versus their. As a rule, anything that uses an apostrophe indicates possession or a contraction. If you can say it is or it has instead of it's in a sentence and it still makes sense, then you need an apostrophe. Similarly, for contraction, if you can say you are in a sentence, then you know you should be using your instead of your. 4. Passive voice. It's common to see passive voice when the object is put at the beginning of a sentence as opposed to at the end. When the object is at the beginning, then the verb is happening to the object instead of the object causing the verb. In order to correct this mistake, the sentence needs to be changed to become active. This is a very common mistake even for experienced writers, and it's often difficult to pick up on. 5. Dangling modifiers. A dangling modifier is a phrase, clause, or even a word that is separate from the word it's meant to describe or modify. It makes the sentence sound awkward and can be confusing to read. If your sentence isn't clear about exactly what is being modified, then chances are there's a mistake in there. 6. Comma splits. When you connect two independent sentences with a comma instead of using a period or a coordinating conjunction, it's called a comma splice. It's common for a lot of writers to make the mistake of inserting a comma when using transition words, like however, furthermore, alternatively, and age. Comma splice can sometimes be fixed by using a semicolon, but unless you are a punctuation expert, it's best to correct it with a period or coordinating conjunction. 7. Run-on sentences. Another common grammar mistake is using run-on sentences. This happens when two complete sentences are made into a sentence. It can be corrected by using a function such as period, comma, or semicolon, and also by using coordinating conjunctions. It's important to note that just because a sentence is long doesn't mean it's a run-on sentence. 8. Ending a sentence in a preposition. A preposition indicates that another word will follow, so when you end a sentence with a preposition, it automatically sounds awkward or unnatural. 9. Word nice. As a general rule, don't use a lot of words to say a little. If you can say properly explain something in a few words, there's no need to inflate your sentence with extra words. It can confuse the meaning of your sentence, so the main message isn't accurately conveyed. This is really common in student essays and assignment when a student is trying to meet a certain word count. However, it's not a good strategy to use. And 10. Wrong word usage. There are tons of commonly misused words that people often get mixed up when writing. So many of these words are homophones, meaning they sound the same but have different meanings. Some of them have similar meanings but can be used interchangeably. English spellings are often confusing. They are complex and perplexing because English is not a phonetic language at all. The writing letters in words do not conform to pronunciation. There is hardly any language, dead or live, from which English has not liberally borrowed. This fact makes confusion more confounded. But by patience, perseverance, practice, and will improve. And one created an order out of this seeming disorder of English spellings. Most of our common spelling errors are either because, first, one has developed a distaste towards spellings, secondly, because one does not carefully note the order of letters in a given word, thirdly, because lack of one's determination to improve spelling skills, and lastly, one is a poor speller because one fails to consult the dictionary when required. Function marks. 1. Period. This one is probably the most straightforward, also referred to as a full stop. The period denotes the end of a sentence. A full sentence is considered as one that is complete and declarative. Question mark. A question mark also ends a sentence. However, it ends a sentence that is direct question. Typically, sentences that are question begin with what, how, when, where, why, or who. Exclamation point. An exclamation point or exclamation mark is also used at the end of sentences when the sentence express an intense emotion. The expression can be a variety of things, from excitement disgust, anger, joy, or anything else. So exclamation points are meant to add emphasis to a sentences. Commas are used to insert a pause into a sentence. The purpose of the pause can be for different reasons, such as to separate ideas, phrases, or even alter the structure of sentence. Colon. A colon has three primary uses. One way to use it is when introducing something, such a quote, an example, a series, or explanation. A colon can also used to link to independent clauses if the second clause clarifies or completes the first one. Semicolon. Similar to a colon, semicolon links to independent clauses. However, in this case, the clauses are more closely related than when you would use a colon. Both clauses are independent to be their own sentences, but instead of using a period, it's possible to use a semicolon to show both clauses are connected. Another less common use for semicolons is within a list that uses commas. Dash. There are two types of dashes that vary in size and use. End dash, typically shorter in length. The end dash is used to denote a range, such as between numbers or dates. Hyphen. Not to be confused with a dash, a hyphen is used to compound words when two or more words are connected. Bracket. Brackets are used to clarify something or for technical terms or explanation. It can also be used to clarify a subject when quoting another person or text. Braces. It's unlikely you need to use braces very often unless you're writing a mathematical or technical text. However, it's still good to know so you don't accidentally use them instead of bracket or parentheses. Parentheses are used to supply further details or information, or as a side. Parentheses can often be replaced with commas and the sentence would retain its same meaning. Apostrophes are meant to show that a letter or letters have been omitted, and also to indicate the possessive or contraction. It can also be used to pluralize lowercase letters. Question marks. Question marks are used to denote text, speech, or words spoken by someone else. It is also used to indicate dialogue. Ellipses. An ellipsis is three periods used to together represent an emotion or words or letters. They are often used to jump from the sentence or phrase to another while omitting unnecessary or obvious words. It also used when quoting someone and unnecessary words are left out. Capital letter. In English, we do not use capital letters very much. We use them mainly for the first letter of sentences, names, days, and months, as well as for some abbreviations. We always write the first person pronoun as a capital I. It is not usual to write whole sentences in capitals. A sentence or paragraph written in capitals is very difficult to read. Did you ever see a book written in capital letters? Of course not. We cannot easily read lots of text in capital letters. So when do we use capital letters? 1. Use a capital letter for the personal pronoun I. 2. Use a capital letter to begin a sentence or to begin speech. 3. Use capital letters for many abbreviations and acronyms. 4. Use a capital letter for days of the week, months of the year, and holidays. 5. Use a capital letter for countries, languages, nationalities, and religions. 6. Use a capital letter for people's names and titles. 7. Use a capital letter for trademarks and names of companies and other organizations. 8. Use a capital letter for places and monuments. 9. Use a capital letter for names of vehicles like ships, trains, and spacecraft. 10. Use capital letter for title of books, poems, songs, plays, films, age. 11. Use capital letters sometimes for headings, title of article, book, age, and newspaper headlines. Paragraph. This is an example in paragraph. Playing outside has many benefits. First, it gives sun exposure, which is proved to cure seasonal depression. Second, active games such as basketball get you moving and will benefit your physical health. And lastly, playing or running can help relieve build-up stress and frustration. In summary, anyone can benefit from outdoor activity. So that's all from group 5. Thank you.